Do you guys ever wonder, like, how is Bite Me Games going to end? That's something that I don't know why. I've been thinking about that. I know we're starting off with a banger. Hello, everyone. Happy vibes. It's just as we gather here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, at least my time, we are once again mourning the unfortunate and tragic loss of Thomas. What happened this time? It's good weather here. We went to the coast and we went swimming, even though it's illegal. It's too early. Fun fact: it's illegal to swim at the coast in Belgium. And unfortunately, he did get his legs eaten off by a seal, after which he drowned. So now the question remains: what do we do now, me and William? How does Bite Me survive without Thomas? The answer is, so far it's been doing pretty okay. That's maybe mean to say as well, but it is definitely something that I do wonder, because on an ideal best case, by the way, everyone hi in chat, the best case for Bite Me to end would be that we sell a game for like $10 million, we do our own Schedule 1, and then we can just be like, fuck it, we're out. Is that realistic? I don't know. Mickey came out with the jarring loss of Thomas. I should make like the Dumb Ways to Die game. I think it was mobile only. Basically, do this, but with Thomas, his debts at this point. Organ salesman at this rate. Thomas can't get any breaks. No, the problem is Thomas keeps catching too many breaks. I'm joking. I don't mind. But yeah, I'm here. Normally we would grind on a Saturday afternoon because he's free, I'm free, but unfortunately his girlfriend claimed him. So you guys are replacing Thomas for me. You're my Thomas. How's it going, everyone? Oh yeah, I was talking about how does Bite Me Games end. Because I think one thing that I definitely don't want like to happen with Bite Me. Am I on my own personal YouTube or the... Okay, I'm on this one. Like something like a Jason's Story, I think. Like just stops at some point. No, Game Dev Unlocked was it? No, not Game Dev Unlocked. I don't know. There's like they just one day I'm gonna upload my video and it's going to be the last video I upload. And I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. I hoped it was a Let's Play viewer game streams. I actually have one game planned because it's kind of a random stream. It's a viewer game, but it's also another game dev YouTuber stream. Do I? Yeah. So there's this YouTuber, Brano. He got his start with Godot tutorials. It's this chap from Australia, so he's probably sleeping at this point. And he just released a few days ago Heal to Death. And well, what can I say? The game has been performing pretty good. It's been performing better than Overtime Anomaly. We have too many games. So probably I did install it right before the stream. I think I want to get around to play this because I'm just curious. And the guy submitted a key, so he definitely watches us. So I am curious to dive a bit deeper into that as well. Still gotta watch the live stream for the other day. Oh, the viewer games one. I don't know really. This stream is just a bit of a... I needed a break. And for me, doing live streams is a break. If that means that what? I'm gonna play League or Heal to Death or another game. We'll see. Yeah, I think someone had a question. Howdy, any hot takes on the stealth genre, especially 2D? I think the hot take is that you shouldn't make it. What are some stealth 2D games? What does stealth 2D even mean? Okay, let's look at games released year in the last 3 years. We have like not that many. Is this a stealth 2D game? Are you talking about this style of 2D or top-down 2D? Gunpoint is pretty great. Yeah, but you shouldn't look at 10-year-old games. This feels like... Yeah, an immersive sim. Basically, this is kind of like a boomer shootery game with that 2D style. I guess this is not. Yeah, it's New Blood. I guess this is not what you're talking about. I guess it's more like a game like this. You want to make a sniper game. Okay, so I'm not American. But I think if you want to make a sniper game, the focus is less on the stealth and more on like your wind models and all of that and your bullet ballistics. I think that makes more sense. Like how I would imagine and 2D, that's the thing. The game I imagine is 3D. The game I imagine is basically like the, what is it? Like there's like these hunter games, like a Hunter Call of the Wild. Basically this in the Pacific Northwest or whatever, and you do like recce. And that's it basically. I think 2D top-down sniper games is not the way to go. Because yeah, you can add. I have questions. Breach Wizard is like a 3D. Yeah, that's the thing. The guy asked for 2D specifically. I think in 3D you can Tactical Breach Wizard. So yeah, I like this game. And this is more like an XCOM, like turn-based tactics at the end of the day. So not, I guess he just wants XCOM, but if the camera broke. Zero Sievert-esque. Yeah, Zero Sievert. I feel like we need to talk about what the sniper. I think a Zero Sievert top-down stealth. Yeah, it could work. I don't see the love of sniper coming fully into play for this though. But yeah, maybe. Yes. Sievert did well, but this was a long dev cycle. The dev was really nice. I think we did a video with him actually at Gamescom. By simulation games, do great on Steam. Do they mean games like Shop Simulator or those automation type games? Basically both. The old school wisdom when they said, oh, Steam wants simulation games is like the crafty buildy games. Let me just clear those tags. Like strategy games and city builders and 4X games. That's what they used to look at, like city builder and simulation games. The doc form from your channel's about. I've submitted my game on it. Have I gotten a doc form on there? I don't know. Apparently. What were we talking about? Simulation. Yeah, but like now, like the supermarket simulators, they're very big as well. I was actually looking. Oh, I need to go back. One of the things that I liked. Oh God, why is there so much adult games? I swear to God. I do not want adult games. Please, thank you very much. I want popular upcoming. Something that I do like to look at is like, oh, what are the... Yeah, like stuff like this suddenly has gotten really big, this kind of simulator games. This feels like an AI wrote it. Who uses emojis in their short description? Yeah, this is just all AI generated like images as well. For some reason, this shit is selling pretty good now. Oh, I'm getting a
new
very...
15 donation from Kamamoop. Just found out I'm not having a job next month, but I am getting 6 months of severance pay. I decided it's time to jump into full-time indie dev. Only just found your channel recently. It's been great food for thought. Thanks.
I definitely thank you, Kamamoop, and I think there's a very good backlog here. 6 months is pretty solid severance-wise, also because you know that you have... Yeah, this is AI slope. Because you know that you have 6 months, so you can already kind of cut down. It's kind of similar to what I did, although I didn't get severance, but I knew, like, basically 5 months before I quit my corporate job that I was going to quit. So you can kind of alter your life around it. And it can be a very good runway to do something. But I think expecting you to yourself, I just want to say that now, to crush your dreams, I guess, don't expect yourself to be like fully profitable and self-sustainable by the end of 6 months, basically. But thank you very much for the 15 euros. So yeah, like I even saw, so one of our viewers' games is Retro Game Store Simulator. This one. And I saw people get feedback or give him feedback, because this is like, it is a pretty solid polished game with a good niche. This is probably going to do pretty well. But people suggested him to make the capsule more AI, because that is like what all of these, like, god damn it, this is a miserable capsule. Oh well. But they're unpopular upcoming, so they probably have like a fuck ton. I don't know actually. The Bank Simulator, I don't know if they're popular upcoming. I just want to take a look. Yeah, this has 7.5k wishlist still, and I think actually CodeMonkey even made a video very recently. Yeah, where this game made $28 million. Why? He basically talks about like shop simulator or like supermarket simulator, and I think, no, he just plays it himself. I swear to God, I saw a video where he like made that kind of game on his own. I guess I imagined it. But basically on the like Unity Asset Store, and at that point there's like frameworks and templates for it as well, like Store Simulator. I personally don't see the like checkout frenzy, and this is basically for 50 euros you get the full game, and then you just get another asset pack, and people put that stuff, and that's it. Or he made a shop simulator sample project. Yeah, something like that. He did something with it at least. These are pretty slop games, I would say, but they definitely do work. And then it's like, yeah. Hi, do you think making story-rich games with meaningful choice spots as indie is realistic? Like an RPG where the player actually affects the main story, which implies having more than one story. Are you a writer? If you're a writer, I think it is feasible. But if you're not someone who already has prior writing experience, I think it's really hard to correctly plan those kinds of things. Where you, like the decision, isn't decisions matter? Choices matter. Yeah, it's like an actual tag even. Why does... Okay, I guess it's kind of an overused tag, but a lot of these games are like visual novels, because I like spoke with this dev. A lot of it are visual novels, and I think that is the thing you need to keep in mind if you're an artist, a writer. Then think about it. If you're not a writer first, I wouldn't make narrative games to begin with. I think an example, this is from a Belgian developer, Time to Wake Up. This is kind of like a walking simulator narrative. Like, I've played some demos and prototypes of this game. This guy has a degree in like, I don't know, literature, English, like classical. That's like, you know, one of those degrees where writing is a very big part of it. And like, I have full confidence this is going to be a game with a good story, because he knows how to write stories. He has like some short stories and whatever. I want to make a game at some point that is a story, but I know that I need to first write stories standalone before I take story and add that to game and all of that, basically. Yeah, if you want to get good at narrative games, make Renpais until people say your visual novels are good. Yeah, and I think only then, by the way, hi, thanks for joining in the game clinic. Only once you know that, okay, I'm confident with the writing part, then you can think about the rest. Because it is something that, yeah, oh, I want to make Baldur's Gate 3. And it's like, a game like Baldur's Gate is like, you're alone and you've never made a game before. So, yeah. I want to make a game that's so controversial that it gets banned and then goes viral. Look up the game No Mercy. It is no longer on Steam. But damn, did it get... I only found out about it yesterday. I'm not going to pull it up on Steam because it's an NSFW game. But the game still made like 200k, partially because of the controversy. I don't know more about it yet. Fear and Hunger is similar. I'm friends with No Mercy Dev, lol. That is a small world. I think it was banned because there was a petition with like 70,000 votes on it. I really just cursorily looked at it yesterday. I saw it wasn't on Steam anymore. It was still on Gamealytic. I think the dev got banned on Steam. I think... I do wonder what happens with the revenue. If Steam is like, yeah, no, we keep this. Oh, he removed the game himself. Okay. Yeah. Devotion was banned from Steam. Yeah, there's also the Gladiator game banned from Steam. Domina. That was one because the developer was like using Steam to push like anti-vaccination like stuff and all of that. Generally, guys, Steam is really good. You don't want to get banned off Steam, but Steam does ban games. Also, that's what happened to OnlyUp. OnlyUp got banned or like removed. No, like there's no legit OnlyUp anymore because they were like this is an OnlyUp, this is an OnlyUp, but these are different OnlyUps. None of these are the official ones. They're all trying to just capitalize on the fact that the original OnlyUp is gone. I think for OnlyUp the reason was that they were like using stolen assets or something. There was something with it as well. Domina is gone. The game is... I think the game is still... It depends by case. I think Domina is gone from Steam as well because the developer fully didn't... the developer got nuked from Steam. Whereas for No Mercy, you can still access the store page. It's still in libraries, but you can't buy it anymore. Yeah. Yeah, why not just change the assets? I don't know. I think it's also like they had so many eyeballs on them that they kind of have to do something fast, yeah. Do you know if the public display bait impacts visibility? I've recently changed it to 2026 and I saw 10% improvement. So what I don't know. I don't have Source. I saw it one time, but it could have been in a dream. Having a release date gives better visibility or conversion, at least, like from some data mining thing. I think it was from a Simon Carles article, than to be announced, or like whatever it's called on, you know, like when there's a game and it's like, oh, coming soon or date to be announced, that performs like less generally than having a date, even if that date is still a year in the future. Next game we're making is going to be another Anomaly game. Like, we're working on 2 games right now. One is a bigger scope game, but it's gonna take a while. The other one is a more simple Anomaly game. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I think it's gonna be a good game. I think reception from viewers is gonna be like, oh, this is an asset flip. Because we looked at the feedback for Overtime Anomaly, and the main problem that Overtime Anomaly had is that it's just too fucking much. Pardon my French, but like, Overtime Anomaly started as, okay, we want to make an Exit 8 with more depth. But we ended up changing the entire way that the level works. We ended up changing the entire way anomalies worked by adding categories, which changed the entire day, like, system of like repeating loops, where a lot of people actually bought the game and were kind of disappointed by, they wanted more Exit 8. And we gave them too much stuff, that it was too like different from Exit 8. So now we're like, okay, fuck it. We'll make an Exit 8 because it basically just means taking the code base for Overtime Anomaly, making a new level, hacking out, like just going into the code base for like our Anomaly manager and just slashing out pieces of code like, oh, we don't need categories anymore. We don't need any of these things anymore. And focusing on what people want from those Exit 8 games. And that means that we can do a very short dev cycle. The plan right now is to release before end of May, which should be very doable, but that's like the only main date we've put ourselves. I got a lot of good questions in chat earlier as well that I want to go back. Someone asked about like, oh, is it worth to support multiple resolutions and other users' configurations, or is it too much work for a solo dev? You need to support all resolutions. And keep in mind, also support things like ultra-wide, I'm using an ultra-wide display right now as I'm streaming this. A lot of games do not have ultra-wide support. This is something famously that Thomas Brush, when the Twisted Tower demo came out, a lot of people there complained about the fact that the game had no ultra-wide support. He added it later on, definitely. If you're using an engine like Unity or Unreal, can you like search by words? I don't know, actually. I don't think so. No, not really. I remember a lot of people complain about it. Yeah, that's a big problem when you have an ultra wide and a 16:9 game and you just give me black boxes or something. But honestly, when using Unity, it's so easy. Marnix's screen ratio is actually 1:1 on the stream. I don't know what that means, but like in Unity, I'll pull it up, the configuration. I think it's like 1 or 2 settings, and our UI scales perfectly. If you're using Godot, I don't know, get wrecked, it's Godot. But I think if you're using an actual engine, it's basically a solved problem. Even GameMaker, I know some developers in GameMaker, they have ultra-wide support. I think it's a little bit more work in there, but still, yeah, have something about it. Will it be a sequel or different environment than new IP? It will be completely different environment, completely. It's like we use the concept of anomalies again because we have the code base for it, but that's it. I'm gonna show you our canvas because it's genuinely this easy. Canvas. Oh, I think it's a prefab. No, it's not this canvas. Yeah, it is. No, it's not this canvas. Damn it! How did we structure this again? Let's just go to main menu. I know for certain we have a UI in here. Main menu UI. Yep. Okay. You need a canvas scaler, you give it a reference resolution, and you make it match the height. If it matches height, the default is width. As long as it matches height, you're fine on ultra wide, genuinely. And then yeah, make sure you can do things in Unity at least. You can add like custom resolutions and then see like how does it work. Basically now, come on. You can just do like free aspect and then drag it around. And okay, yeah, this is a weird aspect, but if it works on like 16:9, we just target 1080p and then it will automatically in Unity like stretch it out if it's like different aspect ratios and whatever. You just need to use a canvas scaler, but I think it's even installed by default. And then just use scale with screen size. That is the Unity tip of the day. Now I'm going to stop with Unity tips or I'm gonna encroach too much upon CodeMonkey's domain. Can you force 16:9 with black bars on the side in Unity for ultrawide? Yeah, you can, but if you can, please don't. Really, I will hate you. How do you guys playtest your product, like hunting for bugs? We don't do it well enough. That's the problem. For Overtime Anomaly, we did it just with playtesters, with Patreons, and there were some issues with that. Basically, the problem was that our patrons were too cracked at playing games, so a lot of the problems, such as finding out that the game was too complicated, we didn't realize until we saw like Twitch streamers play it, and that's too late, basically. Because that was good, we could see what they were doing. The problem is we could also see that they had no clue what anything meant, what they had to do or anything like that. So it's something that we don't have a foolproof solution for. Also for Unicycle Pizza Time, it's like we had 3 days between the game being done and then shipping the game. We didn't have enough time either. So don't. You want to get more playtesters. You want to get normal people to do playtesters and all of that. Friends and family, whatever. Yeah. The reference resolution revolver over means that. Oh, I closed my Unity. But basically, we work based off assuming that everything is 1080p. So if we have like, oh, we need to configure the width of a text box or an image. If I want that image to be full screen, I will give that a resolution of 1920 by 1080 because that's a reference resolution. It will take up the full screen. You can also put it to 720p, or if you're using something like a pixel art based game, I think then it's like 240 by 180, or like there's this set resolution that's like way lower res for pixel art that you then scale up, and you base your UI based on that. Curious why we didn't do an open playtest? The reason for that was that the game had less replayability. And if we did an open playtest, nobody in our audience would buy it anymore because they would have seen too much of the game already, kind of. That's the thing there. If we wanted people to play the game or like playtest the game, it should be people who weren't planning on buying the game to begin with. And also, our audience is not a great playtesting like thing at the end of the day, because like I said, a lot of people are too good at it, and a lot of people, and this is something you have to be honest with, want to just backseat dev us. And then we get so much feedback that it just isn't bearable for me and William anymore, because if we get 250 different pieces of feedback, what do you do then? There's no easy way to do that. So yeah. Hi, by the way, Wilmar and Emma WS. Do you think using AI stuff as an indie is actually a plus right now? Like for voice acting, for example, given how gaming community seems to overall dislike anything to use with AI. I don't think... AI voices... I actually talk about this in an upcoming video. This is a game that uses AI voice acting. There's a lot of games that use AI voice acting, but this was a game that I played on stream once. I think I can just even find it, because I pull up that stream as the example in the video. Hey, look who's live. This is gonna be... It's at some point. I played this. I swear. I think it was on Next Fest. Yeah, it was here. Our Freedom. Yeah. Am I going to react to a... I also just fit exactly... I should just put myself like here. You can't see a difference. Like this game uses voice acting, AI voice acting. The problem is there's like a spoiler alert. I guess it's like the first few minutes. But there's an area here where the city just burned down.
Breaking out to the outskirts.
Good to see you.
This is this is just me talking in the background. Basically, this super emotional thing happened, but AI just isn't good enough at emotions and all of that. And I think that is one of the big problems. That, like, it works for very short things, but if you have anything with emotional depth, it just cries, basically. Cries, it dies. It's, yeah. AI voice is a hot topic for the vocal minority. Yeah. Have it been indeed something like, oh, I think also with Cosmic Cosmonaut, the game we played last, like viewer game thing, Cosmonaut. This game also uses AI voice acting. I don't know as a placeholder or a permanent thing. The problem is this is a game all leading into that Soviet punk style of like the Soviet Russians discover like space travel, but then it uses American sounding AI voice actors. And once again, you reach the point in that you're better off leaving it out than keeping it in, because of like, it just breaks the immersion way more than me in my brain seeing the subtitles and then reading it myself in a stereotypical like Slavic or like Russian accent. Some people could also deliver them emotionless. Yeah. And the problem with the AI stuff is also that people just have no fucking clue what is AI and what is not. We use an actual voice actor. We use the same voice actor as we did for Unicycle Pizza Time, one of our viewers. And I think he's a really solid one for Overtime Anomaly, for the boss. And then people were like, what is this AI as voice acting? And it's like, my dudes, it's literally a real human being. What can I do here? Also, yeah, so you have been asking for me to look at your game Acrobatic Car for the past too long. I'm not gonna look at it now. Please just stop. I wonder if there's an accent version of Auto-Tune. Yeah, one thing that we suggested in the stream, if you do want to keep the voice, is like at least put like a sound effect over it. I think that's one thing as well. We used AI. Oh, I took the trailer. I can still see the trailer. The OG trailer for Overtime Anomaly. The announcement trailer. So this is, remember, this was made 3 months ago in a week. A week before this trailer was posted live, there was no game yet. We didn't have any of the assets. So we were like, we didn't have enough time to work with our voice actor. So...
Hey, thanks for wanting to pick up the work.
This is AI.
I knew I could count on you.
Nobody mentioned it,
Anyways.
nobody noticed it, and then we use a real voice actor, and then suddenly everyone is like, oh, how are you using AI? It's like, you have no clue anymore. And I think art has this problem even more, where you see this now, where artists have to defend themselves to be like, oh, no AI was used. I think a similar one, lately, I've been listening a fuck ton to Blue Turtle. Blue Turtle, they just are like, you know, like, oh, fantasy music, background music, whatever. And they also like start having to put up those no AI like disclaimers, because if you just look up, like, you have so much of like, you know, like Lord of the Rings lo-fi, and then you just get like a lot of this stuff is just AI generated music, and it's different, but it's like, it's kind of hard to tell, also kind of not. And it is that stuff of like, now you suddenly have to disclose and everything. Just make my game compatible to ultrawide in Godot. Took me 1 second changing one setting. Yeah. And people will thank you for it. That was what I was surprised for. Like, I think we got like a few pieces of feedback for Overtime Anomaly where people were like, awesome, it works for ultrawide. Because to a lesser degree, if you put in that configuration for your UI, it also works on other platforms like Steam Deck, and a lot of laptops now are using 16:10 aspect display ratios and all of that. Unpopular opinion, but I've heard a lot of solid AI-generated music. Yeah, and there's a lot of solid AI-generated art, but it's not everything, and it's that, like, distinction or whatever. It's getting more common for streamers to use ultra-wide monitors as well. I feel like that is a hard one. Like, anything that's not 16:9 live streaming is still miserable unless you use, like, some crazy level overlays. But I don't want to do that exactly. Even if our freedom had real emotive voice acting, it'd still be a weird match for the visual art style. Yeah, maybe. I think it could work. And then, to keep the AI, oh god. And then on the other hand, we have like programmers where, have you guys been vibe coding recently? I'm curious. I've been trying out vibe coding. I like it. It's like the first time that I got back a little bit into programming more. Also, like, we've made prototypes, just like throwing AI through it. And then, you know, for code, people are just like, yeah, make my life easier. I don't want to think too much about this. My coding vibes have been excellent. Oh, mine haven't. Let me pull up a screenshot of my vibe coding experience in a nutshell. I don't think I can pull this up as a screenshot. I've been playing around, like, we recently updated the Bite Me Games website because our Squarespace was about to expire. And I was like, we're not paying 200 euros for it. So like, I made this. And it's like, it's basic, but I'm like, oh, just give the card some feel. And it like does it, which I do enjoy. This entire website took me like less than 1 hour start to finish. And I think it's like, it's possible. It's a website for a game dev studio. Really, guys, don't worry too much about like how quality your website is. Yeah, sometimes finding small office parts. But this is me like, I was vibe coding a few days ago, and it's like, it was just so incredibly stupid. And then like I have to like do stuff like this in the prompts just to give it like more motivation to actually think more than 2 seconds. And even then it still gets it wrong. And you change so much stuff. And yeah. So this is a real thing with vibe code, or like with LLM prompts, by the way. Stuff like, oh, if you get this right, you get $1 million and stuff like that, and then give the AI a reason why they need $1 million. I'm not from Holland. I'm from Belgium. How dare you say I'm from Holland? The game Horus uses crappy text-to-speech, and it sounds better than the AI. I think it depends on the game as well, like the game's visuals. It's a platformer. Yeah, it fits because it fits Douglas Adams. I don't even need to look the rest of the game. Yeah. If you're making a Douglas Adams universe, you can do whatever the fuck you want, basically. Yeah, I vibe coded a snake game the other day to test stuff. Did well until I completely broke the game trying to add stuff. Do you have any info on people seeing a game streamed or played that actually buy a game? I guess variety and clever decision pad. Wait, do you have any info on people seeing a game streamed or played on YouTube that actually buy a game like Overtime Anomaly or story-based games? So one thing that we did consider with Overtime Anomaly is that, one, the anomalies are random, so people can get different experiences, and there's multiple endings. Same with Unicycle Pizza Time. At the end of the day, we can see, usually when a streamer goes live, because we have this thing. I've talked about it before. Basically, every time that someone goes live or a new viewer, like this was like someone is streaming, and then we get a notification, and they have like 306 viewers, so we know that. And then generally we do see a sales spike, peak, whatever, a little bit later. Like Lyric played the game, whatever. It's not always big, but there is always a conversion from especially a live streamer covering the game and then getting some sort of sales from it. So I don't know, Eli, if that answers that question. Belgium has superior kennels to Holland. I feel like we barely have kennels. That is a weird statement. Is indie the only way to get into game dev? Nobody wants to hire a beginner game developer, even seasoned. Web development, genuine. I don't know why. I get this a lot. Also, like people who like get like the coaching calls or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a web developer. I want to get into game dev. I've been playing games my entire life," and it's like, yeah. I like that idea, but one, everyone who gets into game development basically has been playing games their entire life as one of their passions. It's really not going to win anyone over. And especially considering right now just how fucked the market is, basically. I think Indie Game Clinic, you made an entire like 2-hour stream about it, talking about basically in pretty words, yeah, it's kind of rough right now. There's a lot of just junior game developers and senior game developers that can't even get a job. A web developer is not going to be the thing that suddenly sways them then. Also for vibe coding, I start with Vercel V0 and then I switch like the Bite Me Games website. This one was made completely in Vercel V0 because it's focused on web development as well, basically. But and then usually what I do, once I see that Vercel V0 is kind of struggling, I just download the code base and I put it into Cursor. And that's my flow so far. For context, I have been vibe coding 1 week. So I am no means an expert in it. But yeah, Some job hunting discourse for game dev and regular program work, and the number of game devs who have prestigious backgrounds is astonishing. Yeah. It's also like here in Belgium, I live very close to the IHLS. This is like the rookies. You've got like this awards, which is something for like best game development. I didn't go to a game development school. I studied computer science. But they've won a fuck ton of awards of like some of the best game develop. Oh, please don't let your site make sounds. Thank you very much. Do they have something? No. They won a bunch of years, like #1 game dev school, #2 game dev school in the world. Yeah, achievements. Yeah, global school rankings 2024. And then let's say, do they have just game development and design? Sure thing. Official rankings, like they're #2 for game development. Yeah, Think Tank in Canada usually wins from them. And because of that, just from proximity, most of the people here know me. And I get so many emails from like people of them, and like I'm kind of into contact with them because I live 30 minutes from this university. Basically, nobody almost finds a job right now. And that's like the sad part. Also, with like internships and all of that, even those are pretty hard to find. Listen to your parents, learn a proper job. Plumbing, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, indie teams will not hire a new person until they need to, and then they get 300 applications a role. That's indeed, I was talking to someone a while back, like an EA role right now, they close in 2 days for like EA games, and they get 1,500 applicants. And basically they just close that quickly again, because it's like, what are you going to do with 1,500 applicants? Vibe plumbing. Yes, we're not vibe plumbing our way out of that. The vibes, when a while back I woke up and I'm like, I feel like it's colder than normal in my house, and I want to take a shower, and the water just doesn't get warmer. Only to then find out that I have like a pipe that had burst somewhere underneath the house, and like my boiler pressure was at 0. And I just knew that the vibes were gonna be bad the entire day. So I get to put on my working clothes and then go and like crawl underneath and then fix a pipe, and it's like 3 hours of work and it's miserable. Hey, it worked at the end, but the only vibes are bad vibes when you have to do electricity work or plumbing work or any of those things. Yeah, I think you got very lucky. Bananaman, yeah, you study at DAE. And the good thing is you even can get paid for it then. Because if you stay inside of Belgium, you can't get paid for an internship. If you go outside, you can either get legally paid by the company, I think. That's kind of iffy. You can also get like European grants for it and all of that. Pipe electricianing, that's also like, that's just asking for your house to burn down. Feel that a healthy mindset is to find more practical ways to make money, want to just do games on the side. I think that's for a lot of people also just how it begins. My old housemate's friends had so much money. Plumber, builder, and electrician. Marketing and all. Yeah. But the thing with game development is like, yeah, you're saying right things, Noctilon's Campfire. But then you do get stuff like Schedule 1, and this is where people do it. For this gamble at the end of the day. I don't know if there are like there's probably some articles about like Schedule 1 development. Okay, this is not what I wanted. Balatro has a timeline. And it's like that game was started December 2021, and it made so much goddamn money. And it's by like a one-man indie team, 60 million as well. And this is why people are like, no, I'm going to make my own game. Because of these numbers. At the end of the day, it is to a certain degree, it's gambling, but it's like, it just takes so much longer. And there's I don't know, even less risk? I don't know. You're all gambling with your career. That's what the stock market is, my man. No. Guys are going on their own conversation, I think. And this is the stuff at the end of the day. Or like a backpack, even stuff like smaller scale backpack battles is like, yeah, a cool 10 million. I didn't like, and I think especially with backpack battles, that's this channel. They just started out with Godot tutorials, and now suddenly they're multi-millionaires in the span of 4 years. And it's like, it's that meme of, so there is a chance. 4,000K a month. I feel like that would be a lot of money. I guess 4,000. If you have a less popular game like Thronefall, I think Thronefall is not a less popular game. I think Thronefall is a giant game. Yeah, also 1.1 million. Yeah. How's Overtime Anomaly doing? It's been a hit. It's not been a hit. It's been doing very meh. But it's not bad enough that we have to wrap things up. We've got other stuff going on. It's not bad enough to the point that I have to keep doing more bet streams and just show my nipples either, but it definitely has not been doing as good as we were hoping for. It's kind of hopium now for the long tail, but it's basically just, yeah. What do you think could have been improved? We made too complicated of a game. That's it. It's expectations that weren't good. Our game was described like an Exit 8 like, and like some... Like we fell into the trap of our audience, like saying like, oh, you guys are unoriginal, you come up with no new ideas. So we came up with new ideas. The problem is it was too much new ideas and too bad of an initial onboarding experience. Why not improve skills so you can make better games? We make games so we can improve our skills. Yeah. Literally playing Supermarket Sim. So that's the thing we can recover, I think, from this by just... Because the game, bugs, almost none. Once again, we have like a... I think I can show this, yeah. We have a channel in our Discord that we just get like every time there is a bug or like an exception thrown, we get like... The last exception has been 5 days ago, and then it's been very limited. We had like a few tiny ones, but if you look at the scale of amount of people played it, we barely had any bugs for this game. This game had the best visuals we've ever made. This game has a really good atmosphere. On paper, the game has everything that it needs. I don't think there's a clear thing that you guys can point at and be like, oh yeah, but the graphics look bad. It's not like a Forge Industry. I think it's just that the anomalies were too complicated. And not just that there were anomalies that were too complicated, this was the problem. You see this? This is the 4 categories that an anomaly can have. So we were like, okay, we're not just going to have binary anomaly, yes. I don't think it has the best atmosphere. I think you're playing a different game. I think this atmosphere is really fucking good. Because even I still get scared from this, even as the developer. Maybe after publishing it, I will never need to be hired or just suffer enough to stop dreaming about it. Yeah. I think the vibes are really good. And that's the thing, like, these screenshots are very intriguing. But, like, this thing, I think this is the big problem. I think if we just did one big button, anomaly, yes or no, people would be... It wouldn't be adding too many mechanics at the same time. Because it was like, okay, anomaly, yes or no, became anomaly, which ones of the 4 categories. And it wasn't for a lot of people clear what's the difference between a matter instability, a perceptual interference, a reality fracture, and entity breach. And then we added also this part, was like a completely new loop as well that Exit 8 and all of those horror games don't have, where you actually had to perform tasks as well. There were 2 tasks that should have been a bit clearer, I have to be honest there. But even then, just the whole concept of finding the rooms with the tasks and things like that was also like just not clear for most people. Even though for me, and once again for our playtesters, it was painfully obvious. Fierce to Fathom, I think you're not the first. Yeah, you're not the first viewer who's making Fierce to Fathom style games. I'm thinking to make one. I think on paper they're fine. I think it's very virality driven to a certain degree, because it's also like looking at Chilla's art. Like they can make a lot of stuff work as well. Like Chilla's art, they made Shinkansen Zero, which is another Exit 8 like. If you look at this, it's literally just you walk through one train cart and spot an anomaly. No anomaly, go to the next train cart. If there's an anomaly, go back. And this is what people wanted at the end of the day. And yeah, Chilla's art, they're also pretty big, known as a horror studio, because they've just made so many horror games at this point. But I think that was kind of, yeah, some of the things. You guys, what am I missing? Please don't fight Nick and Vast. My God. The best way to learn how to make a good game is to learn how not to make a bad game. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Overtime Anomaly isn't a bad game. I think when you look at Unicycle Pizza Time, it sold more. It sold a lot more. It sold like 8 times more or something by now. But this is a game that, yeah, it's okay, but there are some issues. The multiplayer is sometimes a bit wonky. The level design, yeah, you can kind of hate the level design, I guess. Like, I can understand people not liking this game. And I think score is still fine. Overtime Anomaly, there's no clear obvious bugs. There's way better, because this is like, at the end of the day, these are not like amazing visuals. So yeah. Were you guys passionate about Overtime? Yeah. That's why it took so long in our terms as well. It's the game that we also cared the most about. So that's why it's also so sad now to see that it didn't reach what we wanted. Overtime Anomaly has been the game, I think, that we've been most passionate about in general, me and William. I think we're really aligned with what we wanted. We added stuff like secret endings, extra lore. And I don't think a lot of people even found that, just because of like, hey, we want to make this slop over passion-pastic. I don't know. How many other prototypes or ideas did you have? You mean for Overtime Anomaly or for games in general? We killed another prototype recently. Yeah, sometimes it's just luck. And that's what we realize now as well. It's like we didn't make the money we wanted from Overtime Anomaly. But I can't, like, apart from the new player experience, there is nothing else that I can look at this game and like fault it for. We could have given it like a week extra for influencer marketing, but there was nothing big now, like with a Unicycle Pizza Time or with a Magical Girl Gardens or whatever, that we massively fucked up. So then it's like you can do everything right and still lose. It's kind of the approach we have now, and just go to the next game. Would you think doing an IT course would be good to get? Would you think an IT course would be a good thing to get before trying to do game dev, thus having more programming knowledge, less understanding? I think you don't. I think knowing computer science is definitely going to help for the programming part, but it's not going to solve all your problems, because at the end of the day, then you're going to end up with bad art. Like, if you want to know a game that's made by computer scientists first and not game developers, this is a computer scientist game at the end of the day, where you get this style of visual art. Why is the grass this green? It's things like that. And like, the code is really good, but everything game design wise and game wise is pretty bad. So code can help, but code can also be a trap in just overbearing everything. You know, we probably, I'm gonna leak it here first. Probably 2025, if our studio survives long enough and Thomas doesn't get munched by another like seal, we want to get started or go into more of a planning stage for a sequel for Forge Industry. We're gonna revisit it, and we're going to make it like 3 gazillion times better, guaranteed. But it's going to be a big scoped game, so we need to actually have some money or something. As a graphic designer, yeah, I had some questions. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of UI, like the big UX. There's actually a stream I'm planning. I haven't done it yet, but I want to do like kind of a brainstorm stream for our sequel game, Forge Capital. It's like the working title we have right now, where I just play like Forge Industry again, because I haven't played it in over a year, and then see what did we do good, what did we do bad, and like what would we change. No, we're gonna, the idea now is like Forge Capital or something. Like either remove the forts or remove the industry, but keep like one of the two words, basically. Factory in general seem like hell to help. Yeah, we want to do it with dots as well, the sequel. Because we have some cool ideas and we want to get started with dots, which is like the thing so that Unity can run like 10 million things and whatever. And I think the concept of this is good. Of not having conveyor belts and instead having those little characters walk around and managing their routes. But the UX and the actual implementation of it just wasn't there. Reforged industry, yeah. So Frostpunk? No, not Frostpunk. Frostpunk isn't like automation game like this at all. Frostpunk is a city builder. We want to make an automation game. But we would add a bit more city builder, because this game has 0 city builder at all. And for Forge Capital, we want to have some sort of population management. More like a Timberborn. Yeah, I think a big inspiration, honestly, for Forge Industry has always been Factory Town. This has always been the biggest inspiration in terms of what we wanted to go for in style of game, but we were like, we're not going to do conveyor belts. Forge Capital is going to have trains, confirmed. That is the one thing, I don't care. The first thing we're going to implement for Forge Capital is trains. Knights and Merchants. It sounds like the sequel to Kingdoms and Castles. I have not seen this. I have not played this. What is this UI? I don't want to make this UI. 2013, okay. Yeah, I wasn't born. Magical Girl Industrial Anomaly on a unicycle. Yeah. I don't understand the obsession with trains. It's kind of just an inside joke for the OG fans. That emerges from 1990. The game is older than me, guys. How am I supposed to know it? No. Waves of enemies. Also, why are so many people watching me just yap? Where are you guys normally? We're at like 200 viewers. The only time we've gotten this many viewers previously was the apology live stream. Zeus, Master of Olympus. I had a really good idea for a game. I recently went to see Gladiator 2, and I kind of had the idea for a game, but like artistically and visually, it's not happening anytime soon. Basically a slave manager. But just when I said that out loud the first time, like when I pitched it to like the rest of the Pyramid team, I was like, yeah, no, we can't make a slave manager where basically the concept was like, you know, games like We Who Are About to Die. Because I know this is something people are going to yell at us. This is like a gladiator arena, but you are the gladiator. And I think one thing, spoiler alert for the Gladiator 2 movie, I guess, is like there's a character in there and his main job is like politician, and then he manages or like he owns a whole bunch of gladiators and then he lets them fight and he uses their fighting for like political influence. Basically, the idea I have is a roguelike deck builder, but instead of cards, you just buy people and let them fight to death in a coliseum. But I think there are some marketing issues with indentured servitude to the death, and then also, yeah, Gladiator. There is a game called Gladiator Guild Manager, but that is completely different from what I envision. I envision it really more like a, like, wow, why does this load so fast? Make the player character a slave as well. No, because they need to have money. You could make it with a Mad Max or Cyberpunk team. Ooh, yeah. Oh, there's this really B-movie, indie movie, post-apocalyptic one. I have no idea about the name. About like some autistic kid in a Mad Max, but like a British style of Mad Max wasteland. This is the worst description ever. I guess something like that could work. Roman Empire slaves. Yeah, it's like prisoners of war with no rights, which is still not. Guys, we're 2025. I cannot have indentured servitude, prisoners of war, or slaves fight to the death for like entertainment. And style would be 3D. We wouldn't do 2D. But this is a game actually that we looked up. Because Guild Manager, this was a game we originally encountered when we were thinking about Guild Architect. Make the slaves anime girls. No. Turbo Kid. That's it. No, is it Turbo Kid? I think it is. Is it Turbo Kid? Yes, it's this one. And they have like a kind of gladiator arena. Oh, I love how Kevin G gets my description and knows the movie I'm talking about. I didn't even know the name. Robot Battle? Yeah, but it's not as fun then. I think it is like to a certain degree the appeal of managing your own humans and like kind of the disconnect. I never played XCOM, but if I remember correctly, like in XCOM, if one of your characters dies, they're permadeath, basically. And I think that is a good game design thing as well, where your gladiators at the end of the day, your slaves, they're kind of, maybe it's a commentary on life in the Roman history. For context, I studied Latin for 6 years in high school. I don't know if it's actually a common thing outside of Belgium, but in Belgium, you have like the ranking of like what you do in middle school, high school. Like you can study a few different things. We don't have like electives. You just choose, I'm going to focus on science. I'm going to focus on Latin. I'm going to focus on more like social things, whatever. And there's like the hierarchy of like top is like you do Latin. And then there's like a subsect, but not every school offers this, where you do both Greek and Latin. I just did Latin. And then you have like the kids who do 8 hours of math and sciences. And then you have the people who study economics and goes down basically. I did the Latin for 6 years. So I have a solid understanding of like Roman stuff because I had to translate so much goddamn letters from like philosophers and whatever. Not Pokemon, because you don't collect them. You don't have to go out. Like there will just be like every so often, like every 3 fights or whatever, there will just be a caravan with slaves that comes. And then you have to choose like, oh, I have this much gold. Do I invest it on buying 3 like lower ranking ones and then hope one of them survives, or do I spend more money on the one that actually still has teeth and doesn't have herpes? Why not the Devil Summoner? What, the Irish Famine Simulator? When you have a time machine, you make people degrade themselves for potato. I don't know anything about that. Slave Pokemon time game would go crazy, but would it go crazy in the way that I want to? Probably not. Playing History Slave Trade, Darkest Dungeon, but more ownery. But I feel like this game just wouldn't work. I couldn't envision it working in my vision if it wasn't in that Roman setting, I think is the big problem. And then it's like, maybe we can add like a political subplot where because you need to give the player a goal at the end of the day. Like, why are we making these gladiators fight? And you start in like an outskirt of like south of Italy, for example, where they have smaller Colosseums. I think the Colosseum is the name of the place. You have these smaller arenas, and then as you get more stature and whatever, and you have a good enough, you want to become senator, because that is like the final point. And by training better gladiators, you get more money, and you can upgrade to like a better Colosseum, and then you can get into more spheres of influence. Yeah. I feel like my idea is not bad. It just needs better marketing and phrasing. Have you watched Spartacus? In a long time ago. But yeah. Anyways, that is an idea that is not coming to life anytime soon. I can tell you that. But it's like, why haven't you freed your slaves yet? Yeah. Domina got banned from Steam. Yeah, but it's also like Domina, once again, was less of that management. I would make a management game. I wouldn't make a combat game. I would make it purely about managing and training your guild. At the end of the day, it's like a military sim, except instead of fighting other nations, you just fight other gladiators. Is Bite Me's next game decided? Yeah, the first game that's gonna come out, trailer and announcement for it will go live end of this month normally. Is going to be another more simple anomaly style game like an Exit 8, but still like more than just an asset flip. Maybe semi-sentient robots if they have to suffer. Yeah. Oh, William is here as well. Is it Darkest Dungeons? Princess Makerbell. Yeah. Sparta Tycoon War Simulator. Gladiator Architect. Is it good that the gladiator has their sleep mechanics? What? Oh, they just go to sleep. They don't die. They just get wounded and need to rest. But then you know, you want to add like that art. Like I envision this like RNG moment where, you know, you get that thumbs up or thumb down. And like, I want the player to get kind of that Russian roulette feeling of they don't know, is my character gonna get like my gladiator going to get brutally murdered, or are the gods going to grace me today? So yeah. Howdy, Cloudnear. It's a good idea. I don't know. Do you think it's viable to market a minimal RTS games where the visuals are singular, or just literal pixels, like cellular automata simulator? This looks like a giga niche. This looks like a giga niche genre. This is so niche. If you do stuff where it looks like this, also marketing is going to be miserable. Hey, Alessandro as well. Because, like, I think also minimal RTS at the end of the day is an oxymoron to a certain degree. I think Aramis tried, that's done pretty okay with it, I guess, with Hexagod, which is kind of supposed to be... Oh, did he get... I feel like he changed the text. It was more like pitched as a minimalist 4X game, I feel. Or like a minimalist, yeah, not like RTS. There was this post on, I think, Art Game Dev. Let me see if I can find it. I think like yesterday or something about why every developer should make an RTS. Can I see new? And it was just an immensely... Yeah, here. I recommend, this is so goddamn much text. I am not reading all of this. But like, if you want to do like RTS stuff, I guess this is a good post to learn more about. It was posted 22 hours ago on Art Game Dev. So yeah, I think RTS is very much a complicated genre. And I wouldn't do it anytime soon. Worst advice ever. Yeah, that was my initial thing as well. Like, no, you should not make it. If you're not 100% convinced, yeah, I want to make an RTS, you shouldn't make an RTS, I think. No, RTS is not an oxymoron. It's small RTS. An RTS cannot be small. That is the thing. Because if you try and make a small RTS or like a small 4X game, like a minimal 4X, you lose out on what makes it so interesting to begin with. Just make Suika game instead. Some with Unreal Engine 5 and Quixel assets, but I'm seriously considering just going the low poly retro style route because I'm constantly running out of hard drive space. How big is Warzone nowadays? Does it say it? Isn't this like 170? Mostly negative. Under than 25 gigabytes. You're fine. Don't call it Slave Manager. How about Lanista? It could work. Yeah. Is it taken already? Of course it's taken already. Is this... Maybe I'm gonna find... Is this game what I'm kind of thinking of? I think it's exactly how I envision the game. Gliders cool. Tactical roguelike. Post-apocalyptic blood sports. Okay, this is not the game that I am envisioning. 3027. One-day game does will allow you to just download one resolution of textures. Call of Warzone does that. I think Warzone has like, all right, some AAA games at this point have like free extra packs to download like the high quality graphics. It's gonna be something like Black Ops 6. I don't know. No, I swear I've seen this before. I think. Oh, is it this one? No, this is just their launcher, I think. Content for this game. They have too much. I think they had like a high-res graphics pack. Some AAA games doesn't do it now. Yeah, Diablo 4 apparently as well. Small RTS can exist, I feel like. But you lose out on what makes the grand scale battle so good. And that's the thing. Yeah, I think you can find somehow as an update. If my game is split between serious and arcade, do you think I should choose... Oh yeah, I saw this earlier, but I didn't come to it. Do you think I should choose a serious style or something kind of funny, like a pun, rhythm, or alliteration? Naming games... I think you want to name... First of all, focus on something that is unique. You want to be able to type your name into Google or YouTube and not already have 10,000 other things pop up. Because it's something that I see a lot. Let's take a look. Oh God, please don't show boobs on my stream. Thank you very much. Like, some of these games are a lot more easy to find than others. Game like, for example, Erenshore is a very distinct name because this is not a traditional English word that gets used currently. If you look for Dinosaur World, well, that's still all right, I guess. But there's like these things are all right, like Clonizer. But when I was looking through this earlier, and there's a lot of games as well. Like the game is just called Lab Rat. You're not going to find that game. Even also like ETE can work, but you also have the French word. It's also the French word for like spring. Summer. Schedule 1 is not unique. No, it's true, but it's still fighting against it. Like a game like Scarred. This is going to be miserable in terms of like finding coverage of the game and things like that, because there is so much things that go. Want something unique and easy to remember? Yeah, you also Bullet Builder I think is fine. I think those things where you just combine 2 or 3 words or something are better names. I think one of the game ideas that we had, not my slave one, was like Journey to the Peak. which is also a kind of self-explanatory. Like there's styles of games where you go for the puns, like Blueprints. Did you guys know that Blueprints is inspired by Blueprints? Stuff like that. You have the ones where it's more just like, what does this mean? You have stuff like Supermarket Simulator, which is like, it explains what it is, basically, in advance. Now I'm feeling bad by naming mine Downburst Online. I feel like the online, like, you can still find it. This is not an adult-only game, right? I think it's. I think you're pretty fine in terms of SEO. Like, you're always going to get some results, but I wouldn't worry about like this stuff. I think Downburst. I think you can just drop the online part is important to explain the RPG part, I guess. They ignore all emails nowadays? They didn't. It just took really, really long for us. Let me pull up the ones for Overtime Anomaly quickly. Gaming. Because I actually opened a... Let me see when I sent them an email. Yeah, so... Oh, I don't want to dox all of this, actually. No. We're not going to show my entire email. But basically, let me just copy paste it. We sent this February 6th. And I got a response here, the 5th of March. So it took an entire month, but they did do it. It just took a way longer time than I expected. Warbound sounds cool. There's no way that Warbound isn't taken by something yet. Oh, this is yours. Yeah. Seemingly nothing is out yet. I wouldn't worry too much about like this one, for example. If they don't come out yet, the release date is to be announced and all of that, then it's like there's a very big chance this game is never going to see the light of day to begin with. Well, they have a publisher, maybe, but still, yeah. Just remember this stream. Nah, it was one of the things. We'll get around to it at some point. If we don't play it this stream, we'll play it another stream. I'll do another one playing viewer, like YouTuber games or something. How can two games have the same name on Steam? There's nothing against... You can do that. Let's take a random... You can have duplicate names on Steam. Yeah, I think we saw this with the Only Up. No, they don't. I don't know if that's just by chance or not. Jesus Christ, there's too much Only Up. But I have seen a bunch of games with equal names. What do I do if you don't respond after a month? You wait longer, I think, and they'll get around to it at some point. Barwound sounds cool for a port fighting game. That is also a good name. Games are complicated title. That's why I didn't know. Only Up Extend. Yeah. Simulator. This was a Roadhouse Manage. This was one of our viewer games. I knew they had something bar-based. I also wanted to title my game Quack Ops, but it's already a literal duck company, really. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's one. I feel like this is fine. They have, like, there's always gonna be something. Like, they have 42 followers. I wouldn't worry too much about something like that. Yeah, I don't think like it's Google. I don't think spamming it solves anything. I think I saw something also. I don't know what the term was, but there definitely is kind of a... Okay, I'm actually gonna expose myself. I have never looked at the Schedule 1 store page even. Okay, it is co-op. games like Repo as well, that is like what these games almost do, and this is like this works with that content creator push. If you don't have that content creator push, it doesn't work. It's like you get other people to buy the game. Basically, it's like you do the marketing, and then you being someone who sees a Vanos, for example, play the game and have so much fun, and you're like, I want to do that too. And then if the ones that do have friends, they like gather up and like, hey, everyone buy this game. And then only one person needs to watch it. I think it is more risky though, because this only works, these online co-op games, if you can guarantee that minimum viable stuff. How tough it is? It's not extremely tough, because at the end of the day, we did make Unicycle Pizza Time in a month. If it's not too complicated, I think with something like Magical Girl Guardians, we were syncing so much stuff over the network that it became an issue. Yeah, it's basically like one person needs to get convinced, and then they will do the marketing for you as well. And I think Schedule 1 is similar to that, where someone sees Schedule 1, they play the game, and then they basically to go out and convince their friends to play it with them, compared to you having to do influencer coverage yourself. This is basically what entire publishers now are being spawned from. This is a Belgian publisher, the only Belgian publisher we have, where their entire focus basically is creator content. And what they bring is they bring that first list and some marketing budget to guarantee coverage on a Queso and on Vanos and all of that. And if there is that, then they'll do the rest. But like, oh, I think I wrote their site. There are differences then. Isn't it the case for Overtime and Only genre as well? That's horror in general, I would say, where it is very much spike-based. That's what Order 13. Order 13 is also kind of an anomaly-style game done by this publisher, Belgian Studios. I met the devs as well. And they got that guarantee of coverage as well. And that helps a lot. Did you ever play Meteor Maker? I did not. Because yeah, that is the one thing. Games like Overtime and like horror games and games like Unicycle Pizza Time, to a certain degree, there is definitely an audience who just wants to watch a content creator play it. Whereas I think that doesn't exist as much with like a strategy game or a 4X game or something. There, people are more like, okay, we just want to get the discovery, and then we'll go and play the game ourselves. I think that conversion rate of view to sale, but that's something that's basically impossible to track because Steam doesn't really support that, and it's hard to do to link creator coverage directly to sales. I think that is way lower for a Unicycle Pizza Time or an Overtime Anomaly than an automation game, for example. It actually might be worth creating a content-driven game first and use the revenue. That's why we made Unicycle Pizza Time. Unicycle Pizza Time was me looking at Murky Divers and being like, fuck it. Why don't we do this ourselves? Because Murky Divers, I feel like this was an early access release or something. Yeah, this was early access because 19th of June, basically a month later, I went to Thomas and I was like, yo, I think we can make this ourselves. And the biggest problem, and this is the problem for us now, is coming up with that good, catchy mechanic that is clearly visual, that is a good W in terms of like not being extremely complicated. Because that's the thing, I think Overtime Anomaly, the anomaly is actually detracted from the experience. If the content creators didn't notice them on time, didn't like report them clearly and all of that. I just got home to my apartment. There's 5 bamboo plants. What? Because, trust me, we tried making, like I always bring, there's like a bunch of wheelchair style yeah, you have like this one as well, a difficult game about a wheelchair and things like that. We considered like making this kind of game. We even gotten like pretty somewhat far in development for it, but we realized this is just shit mechanic. This is way worse than Unicycle Pizza Time in terms of fun, in terms of like how clear it is. I think the game where you carry glass, it's literally called Carry the Glass. I think this is a very good execution. I mean, it definitely worked off. And this is one of those ideas of like, God damn it, how did I not think about it? Same thing about like game about digging a hole. And the problem is coming up with this idea and have it be a good idea. That is the hardest part for this style of games, I would say. Way, way harder than the actual implementation. Coming up with a good initial mechanic, that idea, that is not just a completely full clone of like Only Up or whatever, or a difficult game about climbing or whatever the Planet Fuddy one, because you have games like Getting Over It with a spear. Climbing over it with a spear. Like games like this. And it's like, yeah, this is not original enough, I think. It doesn't, no, Kevin G. So the thing that we're talking about here is that idea that Dagger had of it might actually be worth creating a content-driven game first, using the revenue for that to fund the project you want to make. So basically, if we want to recreate a Unicycle Pizza Time, Unicycle Pizza Time is like 25k in gross revenue or something. Like, we made that in a month. That was a good return on investment. And that was a very clear, easy to look at mechanic. If you look at Unicycle Pizza Time for 1 second, you understand the game. And that is the thing. You want to have a good visual mechanic like this that is fun to play. And we tried that with Journey to the Peak. I actually think I deleted my... Oh, I have some gameplay footage of it still. But it just felt kind of flat. It wasn't as good as I imagined. Yeah, there's no music, but like the idea was to have a game where you have a cart and you just transport things. Like, I think the initial idea for this was inspired by that quest in Skyrim where you have to go up to the throat of the world. And you have this cart, and as you progress, it gets more and more filled. I think one other part of the inspiration was Stretcher Man. Like, Stretcher Man has a lot of problems because it's at a 50% rating. But kind of like this, but instead of the guy with a stretcher and then the rear guy, you just control only the first guy, and you have a cart, and you have to like put a goat in the cart or whatever. Like Medieval Death Stranding, yeah. And we prototyped it. But I couldn't imagine the game doing well. And if I can't imagine that 3 days into development, I think it's a very uphill battle to then push through and try to market it if I already didn't see the appeal and I didn't see the potential for the appeal. So that's kind of what led to that game being canceled, because I'm like, look, we can spend 2 months on it and we can make it, but when we made Unicycle Pizza Time, like in a day, the moment we saw that asset, basically, we knew, okay, this is gonna be good. And we did not have that with, do I still have it with Journey to the Peak? Like, not at all. It's like, yeah, this is cool. And we made a separate version using like a more high-res, like high-poly style visual. And this is better for normie streamers, I would say. But I also, once again, just didn't see the appeal of this, basically. What if you add another mechanic or polish the current one? So you mean like expand upon Unicycle Pizza Time somehow? Yeah. I'm not sure. Turns out coming up with good game ideas is kind of hard. Who would have guessed? Doug, that's literally what we just have been talking about, because coming up with an actual good idea is hard. I think like one idea we had was like Wheelchair Pizza Time. We prototyped it, didn't work. This is a game that kind of came out recently. that followed that similar approach, but in a low poly PSX style, made in Godot, and you control a wheelchair. There's already a Pogo. There's a Pogo Stuck already exists. That's the thing. If we come up with a game, it needs to be something like, I have watched so many hours of content creators at this point, also like playing games like Unicycle Pizza Time and stuff, and just replicating like, oh, the Pogo is not going to be enough. There needs to be something that people haven't seen yet. Colosseum style of Unicycle Pizza Time, where you add the Mario Kart power-ups. High heels. What are these? This is Unicycle Gladiator owning sim. Oh my god. No wonder you guys unicycle. Have you ever seen a unicycle in your life, Dustin? Co-op game where you're piloting one of those giant swan paddle boats. Is that his name? Yeah, okay, I can find him. Paddle. This is a game that came out recently. Or the demo came out. I think the main game is not out yet. Basically, it is a co-op game. Not exactly swan boats. This is an idea that I actually kind of had on my own before, but I had a completely different envisioning of it. Whereas more of a top-down or like kayaking sim, I would guess. I don't like this style of levels also. I think this is a very cheap style, even though it works for like games like Carry the Gloss as well, where it's that only up approach. So you just put things in empty space and it doesn't matter that they don't make sense. Cycle jousting with competitive mode. Just take 2 randomizers and add them together. Food simulator. I think that is not ideal. Garbage game. I don't know how I would even implement most of these ideas. Yeah, lives are always available for rewatching, Werner. Don't worry. But yeah, if you have $1 million game idea that we can make in like a month or two, then Drunk Man Pizza Time with Stun Water. Bum Simulator already exists. Why is there a Bum Simulator and Mech Simulator? Why is this a bundle? Who looks at Bum Simulator and is like, yeah, let me also service some mechs? And of course, William owns this. Some of these games share the movement of the character between or more players. Cycle Pizza Time 2 with more bike times. One game that I did consider, but like implementation didn't make sense. I don't know if this is popular outside of the Netherlands, basically. But if you stick to like the unicycle vibe, it's like tandem bikes. But the problem is one person just steers and the other one just pedals. But I think this is something, like if we could come up with a good tandem bike game, this has that visual appeal once again, where you look at this and you immediately want to know more, I would say, about like, what is this game? This game looks interesting, something. So yeah. Jousting on unicycles. But then it's like, are we adding stuff for the sake of adding it? I don't know. Yeah, we use AIs for code correction. The guy on the back has a minigun. Ooh. And they also have to pedal. Steering in different direction. Yeah. Or you have like... I don't know what the name is. I don't know if you guys... This may be a super Belgian thing. Because we love beer. And then basically it's like a bar on wheels, and then everyone has to pedal at the same time. And then they like, you rent like one guy who drives the thing. This is like stuff like this. You can do interesting things with, I feel. But I don't know. This is a weird one to implement. But once again, it has that immediate visual appeal. A dual type game where you have to assemble your pistons and fire. Is this something that exists outside of Belgium and the Netherlands? Or have you guys ever seen this? So you see them here all the time at the coast, where they just drive around and drink alcohol. Beer by choir. No, the person in Startup Steering is like someone you rent with the bike. They exist in Portland. I feel like Oregon. I don't know much about the US, but I wouldn't be surprised that Oregon, of all places, does have that. Anyways, we shouldn't keep just thinking about game ideas. I'm moving to Belgium just for the beer mobile. It's rough, let me tell you. Not liking. I don't drink alcohol. Living in Belgium is just a chore. Someone. This is your pixel RTS. Someone in chat was like, "This is my pixel RTS. Should I reconsider my art style?" I would say yes, but that's me, and. I think the big problem now is that you can do this, I guess, if you want to go the full-on Dwarf Fortress route, because this is going to be your RTS. But then your UI needs to be way more fitting with the rest of the game. Basically, I think the UI just isn't there. I got mugged on the street, though. Did you go to Brussels? Probably you did. There's a pub in Grimsby, which is just a boat parked in the water in the middle of the town center. Now, I wouldn't say it's like, if your main goal for this is commercial success, as in I can stop working on my main job or whatever, no, you need to change things up. If your goal for this is I want to make a fun game, kind of because I want to make a game and I don't want to worry too much about the art, and then maybe there will be a small subset of people who will appreciate it, then you can keep it. But if you want to target the mainstream automation crowd and whatever, it's a different story. And yeah, it makes sense that you got mugged in Brussels. I myself haven't even gone to Brussels in like years at this point. I feel like PSX graphics. I've talked about PSX graphics before. Personally, for me, I'm too young to appreciate them. For horror, they can also. Psycho Patrol R. This is not really PSX graphics, but it is still funny graphics. This is not PSX. This is just whatever that this dev feels is like his art style. But like mouthwashing, and you see this with a lot of horror games on itch.io. This like PSX style. The one benefit, I think it's wrong assuming that it's going to be a lot easier to do the art. Like a little bit. But it only works in certain genres, I would say, as well. And one reason that people do say, like, yeah, this is the reason it works, because it leaves more room open for interpretation, basically. I like low poly, but not the artificial old 3D. So not Psycho Patrol R, yeah. Or, what about house dating game? Building relationships, man. Like, I don't know how I feel about like an art style like this, where it's not PSX graphics, I would say, but it's more of that taking PBR and then throwing like one of those shaders on it that makes it more old school, so to say. And this is like also something where I don't know exactly. This is basically inspired. I spoke to the dev by A Short Hike. The dev just looked at A Short Hike and was like, how do I make this myself? And you can definitely see it, but it's not as easy as just slapping like a 3D pixel shader over top of it. I feel like, yeah, like the N64 style, but that's just low poly stylized to a certain degree that you're getting then. And once again, I'm too young for those styles, I'm sorry. When did the N64 come out? I feel like 2002 or something. No. Oh, 1996, yeah. I did not experience this. When did they stop? Discontinued in 2002. Yeah, my dude, I wasn't alive then. It's still quicker and easier to make than most graphics, yeah. Finding good art style that isn't hard seems impossible. If you want to make it yourself, it's always going to be hard. I think we're going to keep leading onto assets for a while, and instead we're just getting better at post-processing and all of that. So that's the thing. I think I've yapped enough about potential game ideas. Let's play a game. Let's take a look at Heal to Death. I feel like I have to do it. This is my, I don't know, not redemption. So this is the developer panel. I don't know how long he made a video about how long he developed on it. 20 months of game development, yeah. And I think this is his first game. Heal. I have a tab open here. No, he made another game. Okay, he definitely has improved a lot in the last 2 years. My God, going from this game to this game is a pretty good accomplishment, I would say. I think overall, once again, part of this is like I didn't grow up in the World of Warcraft era, but this style is definitely inspired by the RuneScapes and whatever. I can tell that. I think it makes sense for this genre as well, like the font sizing and things like that. It does give that nostalgia feeling, just not for me, because I, once again, was too young. I think it has stuff like good capsules and whatever. Only one language. That's unfortunate. That would be like one thing I would have looked into, maybe. Because I feel like a Japanese could have been a big W for this style as well. And like a German maybe as well. But yeah, I think overall, like the first impressions of this game have always been very good, I think. Like I never looked at this game, I was like, oh, what a slop. And I'm not just saying this to glaze Brando because he's a 4chan user, so of all things, he should be my mortal enemy. But I think he actually made a good game. So, well, we're gonna find that out right now. Healed to Death. Give it a go. I think it's a Godot game, which explains the visuals. So by first time players may take 30 to 60 seconds to load. Oh. Amazing experience. We'll get there, boys. We'll get there. Riveting gameplay, building shaders. Okay. Compiling those shaders. Yeah. Let me get there. I kind of want to switch to my other display though. Give me a second. Give me full screen. Thank you very much. I think it's a bold choice to use this font. Sound effects are fine. I have no clue. What is Assigned Distance Field Global Illumination? Sure thing. FPS 75. Okay, continue. Do I need to know anything else? I think sound is going to be very quiet for you guys. A tiny bit louder. Gameplay should be fine. Should be fine. Okay, let's just go. It's too loud. I can fix that.
The
I have-
kingdom of Mulangari, with their culture of great spirit, has been peaceful for generations. The people honor their dead by building sacred burial sites for those who have loyally served the kingdom. Recently, an exiled priest turned necromancer has begun to defile these sacred burial sites, reanimating the remains and awakening the spirits of the kingdom's most powerful warriors. As he builds up his army, the necromancer has become an existential threat. The kingdom has put out a call for heroes. By banding into small parties, heroes can get into the tombs undetected to take out the undead command. You are the healer of one of these parties. Eager for battle, your allies have rushed into the tomb ignorant of the dangers they will face. It is your job to find them, heal them, and take down the undead that stand in your way.
You can't do this with AI. I think this is a really good opening for the game already, to begin with. Okay, this is very high sensitivity. For me, at least. Fun fact, I have no idea how these controls are gonna... How do I... Oh, okay, I can just hold right click. I am not used to this. This is like the first time I played this genre, so... I can heal myself. Heal yourself up to full health. Let's go. Slay the skeleton. Tap. Healing damages the undead. Okay. Oh, still alive. So I'll have a greater heal. So I can have to keep it pressed. No, I can't move. I see. Projectile attacks cannot be touched, but area effects can. Oh, I see. So I couldn't move. Oh. Aha, so if they throw something, I'm fucked. I see. I just heal myself. I can see the AoE coming. Okay. Yeah, so once he casts, I'm doomed. What do you think about of this hand-holding tutorials? I think this style of game just needs it. Because this is such a different style of game as well than what people would imagine. Because you have to remember, I didn't actually explain the core gameplay loop enough. The only thing you can do in this game is heal. There is nothing else basically, and you can deal damage by healing, but you are a heal slut at the end of the day. Your role of this game is just to be a heal slut, and for a lot of people, that is something that is unclear. An in-depth tutorial like this isn't needed for a unicycle pizza time, I would say, but I think it is definitely a good one here. There may be a way to skip the tutorial, I don't know, but I think, yeah. This is kind of a viewer game, kind of another game dev YouTuber game. It's from a game dev YouTuber named Brano, and he also did submit the game, so he must watch us at least. Flash heal, chain heal, healing stream. All of them I have to stand still. Yeah, and then these have cooldowns and mana cost that I need to deal with later then. Click on the knight. Press revive. So now I build up my party, and basically my party is going to fight for me later on mainly. And then I just have to make sure that they don't die. So now this guy is probably gonna fight the skeletons for me soon. I don't know what this is. How we go faster? We go faster? Is he just going... Do I have to target them? No. so I can heal my knight whilst he damages the characters. Doing great, buddy. Split hybrid healer caster. Yeah. Mana regenerates faster when you don't spend it. What is this? Can I go through it again? Oh, it's just like a temporary speed boost, I guess. Observed pain rank 1. Your lesser heal on friendly targets increases damage done. Crit chance. Privatized healthcare. Lesser heal now heals for 50% more, but costs. Give me the privatized healthcare. This guy is full HP. Equip the armor. Oh yeah. Let's equip the armor. Click on the backpack icon. Where is my armor? Here. So I can put it on the knight, like dummy. Okay. Enter next level, yes. To heal the guy for the damage, I'm just gonna cancel. Ride really needs work. I think this part could be a bit more to the side. On the other hand, it is still pretty in your face, which I think is fine. Dude, don't die now on me, will you? Thank you. I think at the end of the day, this is very much... I wouldn't see someone like a Raw Fury publish a game like this. Like, I think this is a game that can only be made by indies to a certain degree. And I think, yeah, based on the genre and all of that, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be pretty solid. I think everyone is full HP. Oh, I don't have enough mana. I should have gone in to fight. Oh. Well, the mage just nuked them. I am in fact doing a live stream creative session, so thanks for joining. Okay, so it seems like my mage is the powerful one, and my knight is just tanking everything. Yeah. Okay. I never played World of Warcraft or RuneScape, so yeah, I'm not this game's target audience at the end of the day, I would say. But I feel like reception from viewers as well has been pretty solid in this. Wow. Guess it gets like trickier over time, because I want to make sure that my big dealer... I'm making RuneScape in Game Maker. I feel like that is not the play. Damage. Yeah, I know the concept of the different parties, but like here it's just only the heal or whatever. I think RuneScape is the hardest game you could possibly make. I think Game Maker is just gonna say no, don't do this, my dude. Stop your next spell. Flash heal is reduced. Start for 15 seconds, but it's instant. I'll take it. I need to get one of those MMO mouses again. Objective gained, equip the spells. Click on the backpack icon, spells. Oh, I can equip spells to my characters as well. So I can still manage them as well. You dummy. Walk out of it. Oh, What game is it? This is Healed to Death. My fighter is down? Really? How do you determine that your game idea is good and you should take it further? Or you just scrap it and you should rather move on? You turn your game idea into a prototype in 3 days. And if you still like it, and you can turn anything into a prototype in 3 days. Anything. In like a basic core fundamental core gameplay loop prototype. And if you look at it and you're like, okay, I think we can go further with this, and it's actually okay, you can see the potential in it, then you can go on. Otherwise, you just drop it. That's what we've been doing lately as well. Refresh not longer does damage to enemies, but instead increases overall damage against the enemy. Go for another spell instead. To go closer to revive you. Oh, I have to be on them basically. Controls. Aha! With all party members fallen and brought back to life, you now have the ability to command them to perform certain actions, so I can focus target or I can attack targets. Move to area and follow healer. Okay. Heal you as well. Seems like there's passive health regen or something. So, oh god, shift 3 to move there so you don't stand in the AoE. Okay. Why you walk into that? Oh my. You have to go there, go out of the... Okay, controls are starting to feel very... kind of overwhelming for me at this point. But it may just be a skill issue. This was made in Godot. What sort of... Oh, this is the only game probably that I'll cover. This is not like a viewer... Like, this is kind of a viewer game, kind of a YouTuber game. What's your next play, bro, when making... this was made in Godot. What's your advice on vibe coding prototypes? Don't spend more than 3 days, but I think if you can do it in 3 days, it's really powerful. While it's hot. When refresh expires... Yeah, no, shared care. It's fine. I can't go in here, it seems. I can't go here. Wait, where do I go then? Can go through here. This is a safe zone. Buy an item from the shop. Click the item you wish to purchase. The Woven Hood of Honor. For mentoring for new game designers. It depends on what you're looking for. Kinda? I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a pro tier game designer though. I think if you focus more on, hey, I want to start a studio, I can help with that. Get out of here. Holy shit, I am bad at this. I think we got this easy. I like this MMO start game. I'm brand new game that's just learning, but this is what I'd like to make. The good thing is there's definitely harder. I think this game took 20 months of development. Like I said, if you want to learn more about it, this is the dev, Reno. He's made a bunch of videos. Like he has this video. The entire game development cycle basically in 27 minutes. And I think this is a pretty good watch if you want to have an idea of how a game, how much it takes to make and all of that. I want to pause. I want this. I basically don't like the points where I have to stand still. Oh. We got something. Oh, we got a piece of the map. The third piece of the map? What is this? Oh no, it's to make us move faster for a while. Find a guided path to the entrance. Oh, if we... So now I just lucked into it, I guess. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Benjamin. I would release the game with this UI. It doesn't look good. Yeah, but realistically, Mr. M, would you even be able to release a game to game? Because I think this is a true solo developed game, and there's just limitations at the end of the day. Is the UI great? No, absolutely not. Also, the sound effects are imbalanced and all of that. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to the point that I would indeed say, fuck it, we release, and we work on the new game that's even better. Yeah, I think anyone who played World or RuneScape sees it with different glasses. But I think, yeah, if you compare this to like modern day games, it's very different. UI can use serious work. God, it just keeps adding. The UI keeps getting bigger and bigger because now I have this thing as well, whichever this does. What does this do? Empty slots? What? I missed the tutorial, I feel. Oh. Front formation. Oh, I can change how they are based. So I can do something like this. I see. Kill the damn guy. The dude's dealing some serious damage. Very WoW inspired, including the cluttered UI. I guess you want what's his name? Pirate Software to play this. So guys, you might have access to assets, but the biggest disadvantage we have is the sheer man hours. So I can understand that. Yeah, that's the thing. You could spend 3 months of dev time just on the UI. And it's like, is it worth it at that point when you also have everything else to do? Probably not. Easy way to put off 14% of the gamer population. Wait, what? Okay, I got the tutorial done. Hype. Let's go. So now we can see... Oh, we can to the town. Discover new healing spells and upgrades over... Like, this is extremely simple, but at least they have a consistent art style. I would... Like, the stroke kind of kills me, but indeed it is kind of that thing of... Oh, I feel like these two are very cheap. Is this... Are these all the 3 things I can do? Oh, I can increase my party. Okay, I need to have more money for that. It's just spells. Yeah. Like, would I place the gold indicator there and make it that big? Probably not. But it's still like... Oh, I can... What is this? Library. Aha. If I'm really dumb... Yeah, you have like your entire own thing. Like, all of this stuff takes a lot of time. I think a lot of people just don't understand that. Art style is great. UI makes it look cheap, as Thomas Brush would say. What do you think of the stroke on text? I think you can get away with it once again because of what this vibe is going for. We're going for this style of game with this vibe, and this was a big thing back in the olden days. Like, this is not supposed to compete with like a modern day roguelite. This has a different audience, and if you want to target that audience hyper specifically, yeah, I think the bigger issue is less the stroke and more the font in general. Definitely can have some legibility issues, I feel, at points. Like here, this is like too small and too close to each other to be like, at a glance, immediately see it. And like things like this display, like the capital D looks more like an O and whatever, but it's not the end of the world, I would say. I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna leave it at tutorial, Brano. But yeah, I am curious. I think overall reception for this from different strokes for different folks, I guess, indeed. So yeah, V1.0.2. This boy. Do I still have it open? Yeah, Heal to Death. I think overall, size of the font is all over the place. Yeah, spicing is the dude's first game. Like, I'm gonna count this as your first real game. Like, we did the same things. Keep bringing this up. These are modern. Like, we have the same issue with like size of fonts. I think this move is smaller than the new route font, for example. This is an old screenshot because these buttons have been updated, I think, at certain points. Like, I know where the guy's coming from. I know why all of the like here in the bar at the bottom. Why is it? we made it smaller at a certain point for localization, and yeah. I definitely don't like the thick outlines on fonts as much. You can do it for titles, but I wouldn't do it on other points. But yeah, doing UI and making UI good and clear, it's not just an easy button of, oh, I add a text box and it works. But yeah. Anyways, do we have other topics? Other things to talk about, discuss, spoil? I don't know. How's your life been this beautiful Saturday? Heal to That seems to have made bank. They definitely made more than Overtime Anomaly. I can guarantee you that. Let me take a look. Heal to That. Do you like video games? I do. No, this is pretty solid. Because the game is pretty high priced. A lot of sales, yeah. I think this is pretty in line with what I would, yeah. Because basically same price as Forge Industry, but double the sales or like double the wish lists. This is not like, oh, I can retire, but this is definitely, I think Brando still has a full-time job, so like this is definitely good. This has been out for like 3 days. Yeah, I think it's solid. Did Thomas really get bitten by the seal? Unfortunately, he really did. He is no longer with us. The Overtime Anomaly Postmortem is not out yet. The Overtime Anomaly Postmortem is going to come out not next week, but the week after, I think. Or I could do it next. No, I can't really do it next week because I still need to record it. Because I'm also kind of scared of it, I guess. I don't know. We do the... I want to do the Postmortem, but I don't know a good way to do it, because the Postmortem is basically gonna be, we made $2,500 or however much it's gonna be at this point. We spent 4 months of development on this game. So sad, too bad, let's move on to the next game. Like, I don't have as long of a Postmortem anymore as with an Overtime Anomaly, as a Unicycle Pizza Time and things like that. And a Forge Industry, because Forge Industry, we could dive in way deeper. Like, I can talk about, yeah, we launched with 1,000 wish lists.
Country?
But it's like, yeah, we did good in Japan. That's 30 seconds. We have pretty low refund rate. That's pretty good. So, yeah. Is it a good idea to put effort into a Steam Deck? I read it that it's a good platform with good sales. So, want to see sales stats. Steam Deck. 3 months. Let's take a big sample size. Percentage of total playtime from Steam Deck users. 0.39% for UPT and 0.72% for UPT. We support it. It's a nice to have. We do it more as a nice to have than actual supporting. Because if our games have controller support anyway, and our games have 16:10 display support anyway. So the only thing we then need to do is validate, does the Steam Deck have enough juice to run this game? And for both Unicycle Pizza Time and Overtime Anomaly, that was the case. So what we then usually do is, let me look at the events and announcements. Overtime, Steam Deck compatibility. We'll make a post like this where it's like, okay, if you use all settings high, full like TDP, you don't get high FPS. If you put these settings, you'll get solid 60 FPS. And then we do Steam Deck. We do it more also because we see ourselves as real game devs. We see ourselves as professionals, and if we go through the effort in any way to make the game, we may as well do the extra step to do it right and to do this like actual support as well. Is it worth buying a Steam Deck? It depends on you. I have a Steam Deck, but the only reason I have a Steam Deck is because old me, when I was 15 years old back in 2015, bought like 150 or 200 Huntsman cases for CSGO, and then I forgot about it for 7 years, and then suddenly I had enough money in cases to buy a Steam Deck. So I was like, okay, I'll sell my cases and buy a Steam Deck. So my Steam Deck basically cost me $30, because that was all the money that old me had, or like younger me, I guess. I don't know, if you play a lot of games, and you play a lot of games not at a PC, I think it can make sense, but I personally don't like it. I don't really play games on deck. I know of people who generally have like busier lives, like you have kids or whatever, that do like the Steam Deck. Steam controller compatible? Yeah, I have an OG Steam controller as well. We throw it in there as well, but that's more just for shits and giggles. Don't be ashamed because in Dino Money, this is what game devs are like. Yeah, but it's like Marnie's played the long game with the great market. Yeah, surprisingly so. I genuinely forgot about it for so long. I get you, Nolex. The thing is, I'm like, I don't mind making the video. It's just I don't like the dealing with the comments. It gets to me so much. And that's kind of what I also don't really look forward to. It's more just the audience response. And I know, like, I'm gonna read the comments. I'm gonna read every comment. I read every comment, and it's just going to make me miserable. We do not support Kinex, whatever that is. But I think in general, like B-tier Mutineer, I think Steam overall, Steam Deck support is about 1%. I think if you look at like cozy games, it's bigger. But overall, it's still only like a 1% or something. With OT, are you able to swap out assets for a quick turnaround time? Yeah, that's basically what we're doing now. We're making a more simple version of an anomaly game. Marcus is a sensitive young man in a world of haters. No, it's just very tiring. Because how much, like, comments we get. Like, even now, to this day, people still comment on... Jesus Christ. Like, when you see, like, this stuff where 3 people immediately... Okay, I don't know what this guy is on about, but let's go take a look at content. No, sort by views. Like, it's comments like this, like, book, there's no visual appeal. I read all of this, and it's like, it's just like, my dude, we made this video more than a year ago, like 2 years ago, almost at this point. It's like, fix the art now, and it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? That's the... Yeah, and we we had this thing as well of like the how-to versus how I think in our Discord or something. Someone was like, oh, you should get rid of the guru approach and just talk more about what you're doing. And then my response to that is like, this is actually a conscious decision a long time ago, or a decent time ago. We've switched from a how-to approach to a how we or a how I approach for the main part. Like how I would approach solo game development. Instead of being that all-knowing how to approach game development, like there's different expectations then. And I try to keep them realistic. But I think a lot of people still see us and they're like, oh, you didn't make $50,000 from your game? How can you give any advice on YouTube? And the point of that is not just that I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here to make sure you can release a game that is decent, that doesn't look like absolute garbage. When will you sell courses? I don't know. That's like one of the things that I was like, oh, I don't want to sell courses, but we're not making money, or like we're not making enough money. I try to do stuff like more ethical, like with the Patreon, but it's to a certain degree not working out enough. Where like this is a decent number, but this is one Thomas Brush course, and the difficulty of getting someone to pay $10 a month or getting someone to pay, let's say, $300 or $500 for a course is a lot lower, or like a lot closer to each other than you may think. And that's like stuff as well. Yeah, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I do want to... William, are you still in chat? My William, that is. I'm gonna wait a moment because I want to know if he's in here or not. I hope he isn't. Okay, I don't think William is in chat. It's like recently I got like a message from William, because we can be like, I'm gonna tell you this. I hope it's fine. William was like, he went to the bank for something. He just told me, oh, I'm going to the bank, and then I think 30 minutes later, he sent me a message like, what company structure did we have again? And basically then I knew like the guy is looking to get a loan. The guy is looking to get a loan because he wants to leave the house. Which is fair. The guy is like 27 or something. And at some point you don't want to live with your mom, even though his mom is great. And that is also the crushing part, I guess, of running a studio, especially with your friends. It makes it worse, I think. Where me talking and me making videos about game development and me making games is kind of directly responsible for the fact whether William can move out, yes or no. And that is a soul-crushingly high amount of responsibility to deal with that I think is kind of hard. And then you do have to ask yourself, okay, when is the point that we say, fuck it, fuck being the good guy? We want to be able to like have actual living conditions and not pay ourselves minimum wage and not pay ourselves consistently every month. I just make the course, and sure, some people will hate it, but at least William can have a better future and I can have a better future. I'm planning on moving to live with my girlfriend. She lives in Japan. That's why I go to Japan so often. Like moving more permanently in June. And once again, we're making some money now. And cost of living... Thank you,
New
Alessandro.
5 donation from Alessandro_0. Thanks for the Belgian game dev Asma.
Thank you very much as well. And there, once again, it's like that question of, okay, Japan cost of living is lower, but I still need to be able to make rent every month. Like right now, I can be more like, if the company has a bad month, I just don't pay myself. William's getting paid before me. And it's like, we're not making that with like $2,000 in game sales from 4 months of development. We're not making that with however much, it's gonna be like 350 euros or something a month. Yeah, 360 in AdSense. And we've got some good stuff coming up the way. But that long term, I'm not fully sure all the time. And I think it's also, yeah, I'm look. The thing is, I know how much my stay in Japan is gonna cost. Rent is gonna be like, for a 1 or 2 bedroom, is like 500 euros because the yen is also so weak. So it's way cheaper than being in Belgium and like grocery and whatever. Why don't you just make a game like Schedule 1? Don't you think that's a play? If only we could guarantee it. That's the thing. And the idea was, with an overtime anomaly, we add on to that passive income of all of our games backlog, and to a certain degree it has done that. But I think we have to be honest, and it didn't achieve the degree we were hoping for. Yeah. What about sponsors for a video? So, sponsor for a video has the same problem. There's not a lot of money in game development right now. Mainly the only sponsors that there are AI stuff. This was a sponsor that like reached out, and that's something like Blueberry AI. But it's like, there are 2 possible sponsors I can do. I can do crypto mining software sponsors, and I already did that once and it was horrible. And there is AI like text to 3D sponsors, like Meshi and whatever. And I also, then I would honestly rather make, I'm not Primogen, I'm not Primetime. I can't get those sponsors. Game devs don't spend money. That's the problem as well. The sponsor ecosystem for us is fucked because you guys don't have money to spend on software either. Because you would rather spend like 40 hours coding your own localization system than spending $20 on an asset. So those are some of the issues as well. And just like, if you look at GDC, for example, GDC this year had a way low, like the only not studios, but like game dev services companies showcasing there are AI ones, basically, like AI localization, AI text to speech and whatever. And those are also not things that we want. But I also don't want to make a course like Game Dev Rocket where I can sell you the dream of quitting your day job and making games, because I know that's not real. I don't want to do that. So you feel called out with my own localization. Yeah, there's a lot of people with it. And how did we even get here? Honestly, I don't know. Do you actively? Yeah, most of the sponsors, honestly, I approach actively. Rive, Planetary Processing, Crazy Games, I reach out to directly. The thing is, a lot of them don't have budgets, and there's also not that many just that have cool shit. Like, even with Rive, I was like, is this something people want? I think Crazy Games was a really good one, but once again, it's meh. I think Planetary Processing is a really great sponsor. Game dev chat with a side of existential threat. Yeah. Gamification for educational purposes. What do you recommend to do to get a game dev job? Don't. Monetize your community as a playtest platform. I feel like devs are not... No, devs would rather not playtest their games. Because devs are also scared of playtesting their games. Because what if their game isn't good? They would rather live in blissful ignorance and release slop than having to face the problem earlier on of someone telling them their game is bad and they should feel bad. Your CEO ask if you would sponsor you. Like, you know, we even considered at a certain point to get like angel investment, venture capital and things like that, sell part of ByteMe. But even then, I don't know if you care about business. Basically, ByteMe is an unscalable or like an unsellable business because it relies too much on me. The moment that I'm gone, ByteMe is gone. If you're being honest. Like, yeah, we can keep making games, but you don't want that. So a lot of those conversations also ended up dead. But those are things that you need to do as well when you're an indie and you're a studio. You need to make sure that you can keep the lights on. What are you charging as a contract? BioBlaze, the best way is just to Discord DM me. My DMs are open. What about the NSFW markets? Seriously. Art. we'd need to buy assets. That's the main thing, and like have a good idea. And it's like, we're not artists. And we need custom art, basically. It's just if you go and join our Discord, my Discord name is just my full name. Here you go. Marnix wins. WYNS. No, it says I'm live. Have you tried to have William code review Thomas's code? Yeah, and Thomas code reviews William's code. I'm gonna respond to you after the thing though. Where's Bite Me Games based? Belgium. We're all Belgian. We speak the language, so accounting wise, it's just easier. Human, it's free and has good tools. I paint you and send a friend request. All right. Also another one that I think are really cool, but never like it just didn't make sense budget wise. It's like in Anything World. They had like AI, but cool AI. Not through the generation, but they had rigging. I really like their rigging demos for non-humanoids. Because nobody wants to rig a non-humanoid character, let's be honest. So they're like cool stuff for that. But then once again, I was like, yeah, we don't have budget for that. I speak French, but I'm from the Dutch part of Belgium. So I learned French in school for like 10 years, but that's where it ends. They speak Magical Girl Harem gonna sell $10 more billion. How much Belgium do you eat? I don't what this. I eat all the Belgium. Rigging is fun. I think you are very much on the low. Did you even pay you 1K for a video? If it's a full content sponsored video, yes. We did one for Ryder. That was exactly 1,000. Mid rolls are generally $400 that we get for those. 250 to 400. This is not what I expected. Oh, Bite Me Games. Find it like this. Our favorite tool just became free, I think. No? Okay, I can't find it anymore. But basically we did a video for a Rider with JetBrains. And that one was 1,000. But it's even then. I think the last time we've done a sponsor was last year. Because I just haven't been able to get any new ones. Because once again, it's like interest and budgets go down a lot. Is content creation even worth the time if you want to get started? I don't think so. I think it's fine for us because we have the audience. I wouldn't want to start over. Like, I'm grateful. We have 150 people live right now. We didn't start live streaming until we had like 25k subs or something. I wouldn't want to start over from zero for the most part. Like, I think technically I could. Because now I have the experience. I know how to edit videos. I know how to deliver on camera and whatever. But I think if you're starting brand new from zero, I started YouTube for the love of the game. I never did it originally. Like these oldest videos, like our devlogs and these videos, they were made just because I wanted to try out YouTube. It wasn't the main point of marketing the game and all of that. And it paid off for us, but it paid off after 372 videos. Well, realistically, it started paying off after 150 videos and like 1.5 years, basically. So yeah, I think if you, right now, it's just you work on your game. If you did something, it's like one devlog and that's it. We don't want to do game jams because I don't like the concept of game jams. Because you just like, you should focus on the games you're already working on. You don't need distraction to like, you're working on your main games. You don't need to do a game jam to then distract you. Why don't you make more videos about your games, like discussing creative choices, hurdles, design, mechanics? I feel like we talk about it. Don't we? You don't need to do the jam to validate the idea. You should just make the idea then. Discussing about creative choices, hurdles, mechanics. But I don't want to. I guess stuff. I feel like we talk about it. Like also stuff like how do we do our level design? Yeah. We made so much content at the end of the day. Like I feel like that is the one thing as well, and why because if you haven't noticed, we've dropped down to 1 upload a week for a while. I think this is gonna be temporary for like a month or two, because I need to find my mojo again. Yeah, if you want to make videos, you should do it in your spare time for fun, basically, and that's it. You shouldn't focus on this devlogs. Because everything I feel like I wanted to say about game dev and that I know, I've said at this point. So now I just need to make more games, learn more things, and then make more videos from that, basically. That's kind of the current strategy, is to focus more on making games. And just get better at the game dev part, then learn more stuff. But then you get the problem as well. We're not gonna make a 2D game ever again. No. Will Biden ever have an art department? We cannot even pay myself sub minimum wage. As long as we don't have sustainable high income, like speaking 5 times what we have now, we will not have an art department. I know how to code. L2 code, Marnix. I don't know what you mean. Learn to code. I've studied computer science. Why does nobody think I can code? I can code. Thomas and William just code way better than me. And we don't need 3 coders on our games. How's sporting coming along? I once switched to dev kits, but they're not available yet because we're plebeian developers. That's the main thing. Learn art. Ah, yes. I will learn art. I sold my drawing tablet like 2 weeks ago because I was like, yeah, we are never, ever doing this. Do you think elevating 2D games to 2.5D like Wizard with a gun? I feel like these styles, it's like a Wizard of Legend. I don't know, Wizard of, like this is more just 3D, I would say, in total. Will the Switch fail? I don't know. Are you disappointed in today? Because you need to be an artist for it. If you want to do 2D good, you need to make the art yourself. And you need to do something like a Slime Keep, where you have full control over all the visuals. But once again, we are not artists. So then you have problems. I think, yeah, 2D is just objectively harder to market as well. I really love Wizard of Legend 1. I love the visuals of that one. Wizard of Legend. But those are then, once again, you have that thing. This was made by a pretty decent, big-ish size studio. This took a long development time. This is not something you make as a solo indie in like a relatively short amount of time. Need to enter into the adult market. Yeah, Suck Me Games is like an idea. But then still, like, how do you market an adult game? Because there's a lot of them, and I feel like we have some ideas for adult games, but it's like, once again, it's now the time. I am not an in-depth connoisseur, let's say, of adult games. How do you choose what to reinvest into your studio and what to pay yourselves? Whatever I can do before I run out of money, I reinvest into myself. Okay, no, I have a pretty big safety buffer still, but I didn't pay myself for 15 months, more than 15 months. I didn't get paid at all. So the company still owes me. Wait. Let me open up an Excel. Give me a second. 2 Okay, I'm going to blur out William's stuff because I think that's not up to me for sharing with you guys. But the company still owes me 14 months. Am I ever going to see this money? I don't know. But this is like the amount of wages that I'm supposed to have gotten. And then I'm like, no, I don't need it. And I can tell you the number is lower for William. And that is totally fine by me. But that is once again going to that responsibility. And this is why we can't have an art department. So, yeah. So yeah, definitely you want to have a runway. I had a 2-year runway. And at this point, our runway is like at the point where we can keep building the runway in front of us. But that's it. And then you say focus on your strong points. I was thinking about this earlier. What is my strong point? If I really wanted to do the highest earning thing, because I looked at it like if I were to go to another Game Dev YouTuber who's more successful than me, whoever it is, like Thomas Brush, whatever, and I asked them for advice, I know what they're gonna say. Make a course. I'm great on video. It has way higher leverage. It's way faster to make than a game. But I'm like, I don't want to make it. And that's it. That's the thing. Advice, switch to black t-shirts. I have black t-shirts, so they don't show up as good on camera, I find. Over time, I normally did not do financially well enough, Ramon. We'll make a video about it, but it's like 2.5K or something now. So yeah. No, I don't want to do... It's something I don't want to work with viewers. I've had too many bad experiences with it for the most part. I don't want to do rev share. I had a bad experience with localization. And since then, basically, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I had like a viewer reach out, hey, I want to localize your game for you for free, whatever. And I'm like, all right, awesome. Let's do this. And then they sent me their Excel files. And then suddenly they start asking for like games. I'm like, oh, do you have any money? And it's like, no. And it feels so wrong because the power balance is very off. They need to make one tweet of like how I was an abusive whatever. Maybe I'm paranoid, but I have seen too many people get so much shit on the internet for like dumb stuff, like tiny stuff. But it's like, it doesn't matter. I will lose regardless because I am big evil Marnix or whatever. And since then, I'm just like, no, I would rather do it more crappily than honestly, but not have that liability of a developer or someone suddenly coming out and like, I don't know. Like we were very scared with this, or like I at least was very scared of this with interns. And I tell this with William as well. We are a public game development studio at the end of the day. We are under higher scrutiny. And we have to watch out for what we do. And you guys, the 140 people here who are like watching these live streams, you're like, no way I would ever do that. But our audience is so much bigger. And not everyone is as cool as awesome as you, basically. Was the intern thing even worth doing? I think it was okay. It wasn't worth redoing. That's why we don't have interns now. We didn't get much out of it because we also ended up canceling Guild Architect, but I think overall the interns did really well, like do pretty good work in all of that. But I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Now I think we as a studio are just too young, or like we work in a very different way at the end of the day. And because of those things, it's also like I don't want to do interns again right now. The intern girl was pretty... Oh, William. William B. like Guild Architect is cancelled. Is the anime roguelike shooter still coming out? Nope, it's not. Guild Architect could have been potentially fun. Well, we can't repurpose the Steam credit because we already had sent it in for approval. So maybe at one point when we have fuck you money, we can revisit it. But Guild Architect has this problem of we're not making... Like, we're gonna crash before the end of our runway. Or we're gonna crash at the runway. Our runway isn't gonna be long enough because we're gonna bankrupt ourselves making that game. Yeah. Yeah, our audience is good leverage, but it took a long time, and yeah. The anime girl game needs vehicles. I don't think so. But yeah. Are you able to reuse the GA art assets and make it an OA type game? No. It's nukes. Like, Guild Architect assets are very different, and there are still definitely some technical issues with the stuff that the interns delivered. It wasn't perfect. I think the setting is also very different, because it's like a low poly stylized, and I don't think you can do horror games well with that. I think horror games are much better suited for realistic looking or PSX, but I'm not really a PSX one. I know Love in Deep Space, but we do not have the animation budget for Love in Deep Space. This is the most, like, gooner shit you'll see. Love in Deep Space, like, what is it, Lip? Am I gonna find this? Like, it's the voice acting. This is very much one of those, you know, Chinese style gacha games, but like the cutscenes are too disgustingly animated and all of that. It's just worrisome. Selling assets, that's what we did with the Sounds Heritage. So yeah, we did that. It's made as a full, like, it's okay. Dashboard. This is not enough. Like, it is something. I think we've almost recouped the cost of commissioning the art to begin with. But at the end of the day, these are not the most, like, game dev friendly assets. Like, these are very specific, because I think these assets are fine. The problem was the discrepancy and the fact that we needed to get everything animated that just made it not work. Yeah, well, Love in Deep Space is more detail in one character than we have in our entire games, yeah. We prefer working in 3D, and I think William has tried Godot. I don't think I personally will ever go to Godot. So yeah. But yeah. Songs of Heritage was one of the games that we made, or like tried to make, but that one we definitely aren't going to revisit. I would go to Bevy, not Godot. Okay. Let's not do that, Sylvia. How do I ban a user? All right. Give me a concept and I test drive it in. William, how is our game going that you're supposed to work on right now, or like this weekend? Let's first work on that before we test drive anything else. We need money. We need money first. Before we switch to an engine, like to a different engine. Soon TM. Yeah, we have other priorities right now. God slacking. Yeah, it's a Saturday at 7:43 p.m. How are you not working? It's like this. I saw this video of like, oh yeah, day in the life as a tech worker. Yeah, our employer lets us work from home on Saturdays. That's basically the vibes that we're doing at Bite Me Games instead as well. So yeah. But yeah, I think, guys, I think Play Architect is good appeal, but I'm struggling to find the good. Yeah, it has good visual appeal at least. Do you have a store page for it yet? I'm not sure anymore. Oh yeah, you do. What, Sasquatch PS released another game? When? No way. It's making a platformer, no? Is it out? Did you make a video about it? No. Put a pick and showcase. Yeah, I remember I played a very, very old version of this. Okay, yeah, this looks way better. Yeah, this looks way better, way different. And I think I really enjoyed Orsted's like UI design. I think you have a good track of like what to do there. So I feel like Plague Architect can definitely work. But yeah, I guess the loop Because it also doesn't make sense when you like have some people walking around the dead body still. That is like the one question as well, like what to do with it. Did he release it on Steam? Wait. Sasquatch P Studios. No, just Crop Illusion. And then Bill Maya. Are you fake newsing me, Seamus? How dare you? Have you tried crowdfunding your studio? The crowdfunding is like, once again, it's the same problem. I can barely get people to pay 10 euros. So going for crowdfunding, we just wouldn't get the numbers needed to make it make sense. And those are some of the issues. If Patreon was more sustainable, like the dream would be that Patreon can keep us afloat for enough time so we can get more stable with the games. We looked into private, not like private equity, but like angel investing. But those things also kind of didn't lead anywhere. So we have a weird thing. And then kickstarting our games also doesn't make sense because a Kickstarter campaign for a game that has a 4-month dev cycle doesn't make sense either. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Trying to fake interesting crowd dynamics. Yeah. You lose something if you don't get funded. Yeah, it's just you lose time. And also a Kickstarter campaign, you can't do it like, yeah, you can technically do it for free, but you're dead. You're doomed if you do it for free. Also, are you for real? My keyboard is wireless. Oh, we're back. We're back. I think the battery is... Oh, it died again. I think I'm gonna end the stream if my keyboard just dies. That's awkward. Sock pop is the approach you want to go for. Oh, Double X is here. Why don't you work on the game for 2 to 3 years? Because we will bankrupt ourselves. We can't get to that point. No, getting a publisher is not as easy as you think. Oh yeah, Nightstones. Nightstones Kickstarter. To give you an idea, this guy. Video here. How much money my game raised? Some numbers somewhere. That's a Kickstarter campaign. Let's take a look. Like a breakdown somewhere. Yeah, here. He spent 8,000 on Facebook and Google ads before the Kickstarter finished. That's a huge risk to take, because if you want to do a Kickstarter, people need to know it. Kickstarter themselves will not give you organic traffic enough. And this is, he has a YouTube channel. It was definitely bigger than ours. Actually, is it bigger? It's still bigger than ours. Wait, are we the same size? I think we're the same size, no? Hey! Oh no, we're 1,000 subscribers less. Like, even then, BackerCamp and Facebook and Google, you pay for in advance, basically. So, that is a thing. If you take into account, like, the months of work to make a Kickstarter campaign, it genuinely takes months if you want to do it well. And the costs with it, once again, it's like we could just release a game in the same time and maybe get another pizza-like. Oh, he has a new game? I didn't know. Someone who's there from a publisher looked up the site's bold claims. We've had some people reach out, but it's like very up. Like, we've also had people reach out and they're like, yeah, we want to publish your game. Also, we can't give you money, but please delay the game and we'll do your marketing for you. And it's like, that's the one thing we do need, you know? So, yeah. Would you consider doing another game? Yeah, next game we're gonna make is horror as well. So, because I liked making horror. I think there is potential in it. We just need to give it another go. We just got unlucky with Overtime Anomaly, I would say. And I think we can make it. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping things up because I still need to eat dinner, and it's like 8 p.m. now, and I still need to get started on cooking. So thank you very much. It's not the #1 best-selling genre, I feel. Let's fact check that, Lulu. Are there any lessons that you'll do different next time for? Yeah, make it more dumb and make it more in your face, and don't try to do anything subtle. Make it as in your face and obvious as possible, and I don't mean like jump scare, but like what needs to happen, basically. Stick a Severance skin on Overtime Anomaly. It's basically already a Severance game. Top seller by tag. Give me... Can I... There's no way to filter out indie, I feel, but it's... Wait, let me look at median revenue. Highest median revenue. There is no horror anywhere in here. Horror is very low on the list. There's just a lot of horror games. So yeah. We're gonna make more games. We're gonna make more videos. And I'll do more live streams later on. So thank you everyone for having tuned in. Thank you everyone for listening to my end of stream therapy session, I guess, with you guys. Oh, Mike 10. Mike. I saw Boba Tea Shop is coming out soon. And you're on Popular Upcoming, which is good. But I noticed, please, I beg you, speaking from experience, making a horror game. Portuguese, Brazilian, and Spanish. Add those two. That's like 50% of the horror audience. All I'm saying. You've got Russian. Russian is good. Korean, I feel like is even... Korean. Yeah, Queso plays it as well. But I think Portuguese, Brazilian, and Spanish would be easy Ws and fit a lot with this audience. So I want to tell you that. Anyways, thank you everyone for having tuned in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!